Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to you, folks. This is my always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bottom Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, can you believe it? We're just just a week away from the end of May. We have one more week left. Then it's June and the start of the summer season. Just when things start picking up. Shows and competitions are going on. I can't wait. I'm really excited about this. Anyway, as you know, we just wrapped up the Pittsburgh Pro. It just wrapped up this Sunday because it was two halves. We had the first half was for the amateurs, and I think a couple of divisions. I think wellness and I think men's classic, and then the second half is figure, women's physique, men's open, and the other divisions that's left over. So but here, folks, I want to say congratulations to a young lady. I got to meet her. Was it last year? I was in Tampa, and that is Paula Ranta. As you know, Paula just won her second show, back-to-back wins. She just did the New York Pro just about about a week or so ago, and Paula comes into the Pittsburgh Pro as the likable favorite. She won. Also, I also want to give a shout out to a lady who's been a guest in my channel, the lovely Miss Marika Jones. She took second. Third, Julia Glavachiva. Fourth, Julia Sharin, and also fifth, Sophie Carr. Amazing young lady, Paula. She's just 26 years old. Can you believe 26? I think she could be 27 coming this year. This was, like I said, it was really close between her. Well, it wasn't so close from when the score was looking at it, but Marika looked really good. I was rooting for Marika because this is the first show of the year for her. Hope we get to see her some other shows later on. But congratulations to Paula Ranta. Also, Natty Sotiro, who won her second show right after winning Triple O, which was last month. As you know, Natalie in the figure division, she's been also top Olympian. She's been in the top 5 during the Sydney era of figure. And Natalie is an amazing woman. She won her qualification to Olympia at the Triple O, which was last month. And she's coming in here, was the likely favorite. As you know, taking second was Janine Kessel, and Janine won the New York Pro the week before, won the Battle of the Bodies, and also won the Puerto Rico Pro, which was her first qualification for Olympia. Also third is a fellow German, Vanessa Habel, and also fourth, I believe it's I think her name is I think it's Ashley Sherwood, and fifth Diana Freitas from Brazil. Congratulations to Natalia. I mean, coming in here is pretty much a likely favorite. So, folks, our discussions here is about, I always remember something from what a friend of mine told us, a good friend of the channel. Shout out to our man, Jeremy, and we talk about this, how bodybuilding is like the most professional unpaid sport. And how these people are trying to, shouldn't it be like any other professional sport we can make a living off of? We talked about this. We're going around with this on my channel. So we have here my guests, some usual suspects. We have here my man KL the Wanderer. As you know, KL is, check out his channel, KL the Wanderer. He just did a couple of interviews recently. Got some coming up this week. So we want to check out his channel and also check out his upcoming interviews, his content. Just saw his video about D-Pix and Tasha Yar. We were talking about that. We might, what gave you the idea about that? The D-Pix and Tasha Yar.
No, I just came across with the D-Pic video with this. She's like a strong woman, and she just started talking about how people, guys, have a thing about showing their wieners at her, DMing her with her pictures. And the Tasha Yar thing, I was watching, Star Trek. I'm binging some Star Trek stuff, and I was binging Deep Space Nine, and then I started doing The Next Generation, and then I came across that episode 4 of Code of Honor, and you know it wasn't like it wasn't like it wasn't like the it was like one of the worst episodes that they said, because it seemed like it had like racist connotations about how this black guy wanted this, you know, white woman and stuff, and so he kind of, to a point where he kind of abandoned the wife that he had, and the wife was jealous and wanted to get rid of the you know, the white woman. And you know, I'm great. Yeah, I didn't say all that in the video, but you know, I just, you know, I had to kind of like think about it, you know. But it was interesting because I don't really do too much Star Trek stuff, and for some reason I just wanted to do something different. And you know, seeing that, you know, how, you know, they in the galaxy, there's a planet of black people and stuff like that. It's like in Africa. I seen it before, but you know, this was like, you know, I wasn't watching The Next Generation like that, because you know, it just wasn't that Star Trek. It wasn't like the original. You know, I heard from people like season 3 was like the most. That's the one that it got good, you know, with the series. But I wasn't watching it like that when it came on like that. Just some episodes.
Yeah, I used to love watching Star Trek. It used to come on a local ABC affiliate, Channel 15, 6 o'clock every Sunday night, and we used to watch it religiously. These Space Nine used to come on our local CBS affiliate at 7 o'clock, but then when the TNG ended on, you know, the ABC affiliate, Channel 15, then they picked it up and put it on that, because sometimes what he used to do, like it was like something like college basketball, college football, they'll preempt start DS9 to show the games because they were more important. But that's why they moved over to Channel 15, because they just showed, you know, Star Trek. They showed nothing else. Star Trek, and you know, and at 6 o'clock they had the news back then. So also we have here. Yeah, and also the most big controversy was the famous Ahura and Kurt kiss. You know, the story about that. I think I tell you that. Also, our nephew here, you know, shout out to Alex, you know, young man. He got fresh and clean for me today. So he got a nice shave.
It was a very hot day today in Florida. So I had to get one sooner or later.
Yeah, I understand. I had to get so too, because you know it's getting a little. It's, you know, Florida, North Carolina, I think Florida gets hotter quicker than we do, because y'all waiting lower to the equator. And next up, also my man here, my brother. You know, I love him, but keep waving my girl. You know,
hey,
Dave.
I'm
sorry I missed you on at New York.
I know. Yeah, I'm sorry I missed you. I didn't realize you were at New York. Shit.
Yeah. I was kind of like the nocturnal. I was like you know, like a nocturnal creature and stuff. So that's why I didn't want to be like. I know you was like all over the place with a lot of athletes and stuff. So yeah, but I was.
It was a cool show. I liked it. Yeah, it was good folks, and I wanted to say I did the same as Alex today. I got a haircut too, because it's getting pretty fucking hot here in Florida. So.
Tell me about it.
Also, folks, we got another guest. I know he's got a lot of stuff in his hands. I did some link because I know he got a lot of stuff on his hands. He's busy, he's got stuff. So, but he came in just well. You know, he's here, my man, Merlin, Lord Merlin. You know, Jeremy of the Art of Female Muscle is here, and this is the man who got me the idea for this, because we've talked about this.
Hi guys.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeremy.
How things going with you, brother?
Oh, they're going all right. Slowly but surely getting rent paid. Now I just got a call from the credit card saying, "Hey, where's our money?" And I'm like, "Okay, it's not there yet, guys. It's going to be there. It's just taking a while." So,
well, tell me, you see it when I see it. You know, you get it when I get it. You know,
right.
It's
like the alternative is, if I take this to you, if I take care of you, that means I lose my house.
Yeah.
But at the same time, and then it's like if I then pay you guys also, not only to lose my house, I don't eat. So sorry, but we're not losing everything over this. But I've been a member of them with them for 35 years, so they can give me a little bit of slack.
Yeah,
remember
definitely.
I remember I had two credit cards, and I got them because one time with the house we live in, we didn't have air conditioning. We had central air heating, so the old air conditioner broke down, and I got a new one. It was from Babcock, and that was my credit was so good because I was working two jobs, and I got two credit cards. One was I think it was a Visa, and the other was American Express. And got remember American Express, you have to pay the whole amount. So I got behind my American Express, and I lost
Oh
that
my
card.
God.
Yes, I was smart at first, but then I remember one time me and my sister who was shopping at Walmart, and I think I was short of some cash, and I said, you know what, let me just charge him American Express, and we walk it out, and my sister looked at me and said, you know what, there's that old white room behind you. When you pull out that American Express, she was impressed. Because I was just 27 then, so I was considered a young man, but you got to be careful with those quick cards. But anyway, gentlemen, this is dedicated to my man Jeremy, who we talked about this. We run around this in circles of how bodybuilding is the most professional sport, but no one makes a living off of this. And I wonder what can be done. Is there anything that, especially the APC, IFBB, they're the ones who control most of the sport. There's other organizations like OCB and them, but those organizations I think don't have, as I would say, deeper pockets compared to IFB and PC, because and then the cost for the competitors, because Paula Ranta, who just did the Pittsburgh Pro, she gets $10,000. Now $10,000 for any of us, that's not such a change, because that's enough to cover whatever. So like I say, I get about maybe I might make about with my Social Security about $14,000 a year, and just cover my rent and food and like that. And I think I'll go on a car. No, not anymore. I mean, my sister and my niece let me borrow their trucks every now and then if I need to do something, because price of gas. I know where I'm at is already leased at $4, and with both Alex and David, they live also down south, and our gas is a little cheaper, but still expensive compared to the standard. And Jeremy, where he's at, I know gas is cheaper. In New York, oh my God. But y'all don't drive much as compared as we do in the country. But gentlemen, I want to get your points. What do you think could be a way for a form of pay for competitors?
I was curious if y'all know have the ladies ever tried to do like a labor union type thing? Because if they're professionals, why not unionize or attempt to do a little collective bargaining? Has that ever been attempted or talked about?
As far as the men go, supposedly they have. I know Lee Priest for years tried to organize the men into a union so that they could get something, or he talked about it at least all the time. But I think, if I remember correctly, they've made it very, very clear they will not recognize a union. They flat out won't recognize one. And so I would only assume that the same thing would be true for the women. But yeah, I have seen stuff like that. And it's I decided to look just at some other organizations as to what the women are getting. The WNBA apparently, in response to what you're saying, David, they apparently had collective bargaining agreement in which now, get this, the WNBA, if you're starting off with 0 years of experience, $270,000 per year to start. And then also I looked up women's pro soccer, their average base salary is like $50,000. And I'm like, in bodybuilding, $50,000 would go a long way for a base salary. But it's also, it's you look at all of the other divisions that we have now, and you look at them, how they're just handing out pro cards right and left, like they're almost practical candy. It's could they even do so? I mean, the sheer amount of money that they would need to be even the small base salary would be huge. because of just how many people they have now who are just IFBB pros, not just in the women's side, but period. Because I mean, if you were going to negotiate something like that, it would have to be everyone.
Yeah, that's true.
All the fit model pros, all the bikini pros, all the wellness pros. And that's a huge number right there. That doesn't include figure, fitness, physique, or bodybuilding on the men's side. So the amount of money they would have to shell out for this would be enormous. But that's why I question, it's like, if the money is all one way, and it is, that it's coming from the competitors to the organization, and very little is coming back except in terms of prize money, can they call themselves a professional league if the overwhelming majority of competitors aren't making anything, that they flat out can't make a profession? Especially when you consider other women's organizations, they're making a lot more money. It's like I said before, in these other organizations, you're paid in dollars and cents, but in the women's side of bodybuilding, you're paid in jack and squat, except for prize money. So I honestly don't know what can be done. I mean, unless fans out there who are loaded, and some of the guys out there are loaded, start stepping up and increasing prize money, and then also expanding it so it's not just the top 6, but like the top 10, that somebody makes something from it. Like, I honestly don't know what can be done.
Because one thing they do have, a while back, I think we mentioned this, that the IFBB started its clothing line. So you start its clothing line, what is this money going towards?
Right.
You know, is it going towards the athletes? Is it going towards promoters to cover the cost of sanction fees and prize money? I mean, and also the athletes have to pay to play, because, you know, if you do, like, good example, like if you're a master competitor, you will have to pay to compete in multiple classes in a division. You can do multiple divisions. Like one lady who I've had a guest on, Ann Gruber, she did both women's physique and women's bodybuilding at the Puerto Rico Pro. I know some ladies who done that before. I remember Robin Mays did that a couple of years ago, where she was at the World Championships in Pittsburgh, where she did both women's bodybuilding and women's physique. This is something I pulled up, and it's a gentleman that actually David interviewed his wife some time ago. One Mr. Brian Swanson, his wife, the lovely Autumn Swanson, and he talks about this. Where
I've seen this too, yeah.
Yeah, and it's something that I pull up here, and here we go. We pull this up. You say it.
You have the IFBB Pro card, which I just paid for mine. Autumn's got to pay for links like $250, $275 from Pro card. You have hotel expenses. So I think our hotel Thursday, when we leave on Monday, we are at about $900 in hotel fees. If we weren't sponsored by Protein, that would be about $250 each for a tan. You have the hair and makeup done, that's about another $500. On top of that, a rental car, unless you get an Uber, a rental car is about another $500 for 4 or 5 days, about $100 a day. Airfare, our airfare to Toronto from Chicago was about $1,000 total. But I mean, those are just some of the expenses just to get to the show.
I'm getting anxiety talking
Then
about
we have to talk about food. So groceries per week without supplements, just grocery store, about $400 a
I was
week.
going to say 500, yeah.
And we even talked about supplements. So it gets nuts. Whatever.
Yeah, you can go to their it's on Muscle and Strength. You can go to that site. You can see the whole video. You want to check it out. It's on YouTube. And that's a good point, because think about with him, shout out to Brian. He just recovered some surgery a while back. His wife is now Olympia and Master Olympia qualified. And with the men, they do have their costs, but for them, only thing they have to pay for is banana hammock, a pair of board shorts, and tan, and you just put some jelly here or shake head ball. But for the women, show day is the biggest expense. Like I interviewed a young lady just yesterday where she talked about how because that's Alwyn Hopkins. She was wearing a nice little wig, but she usually sometimes competes ball, and she doesn't worry about expense, but still hair, makeup, jewelry, the tan. They also do a little gluing to your suit, so I think they might even charge for that. So and these companies who put in money to these shows, some of these are billion-dollar companies. So don't they think they would want to invest also into athletes? Because there are, these shows are, put out their brand. Like I think David mentioned during the Pittsburgh Pro, they had an advertisement. What was the advertisement you talked about?
Oh, it was for a defense attorney. It was like mutant, and then the next one was like, if you need an attorney, call me. It just kind of like seemed a little out of place compared to the other, mutant, ads. But it was kind of funny too. It kind of stood out.
No, wait, was this ad at the show?
This was at Pittsburgh. Yeah, it was before I think it was before prejudging or before finals. Actually, I think it was. And
Okay.
yeah, just seemed a little out of place. It was funny though. I liked it.
Those one of those ambulance chasers. Like we have him around here. There, they come on every so often between infomercials and whatever's on TV. Talking about giving you like there's one I think show where this guy talking about he gets hit by a fat e-board tire salesman. So why does brother have to be fat? So and they advertise everywhere. I mean, this guy, I think if you ever heard of him, Akin Ascapulo, he pops on every so often. He used to have he used to have a talk show where he was a judge. He called Stream Key. This is also I found out while I was sitting here and listening to albums is that cornhole, professional cornhole players, typical earning is between $5,000 to $60,000 per year. Elite players can earn $100,000 or more annually, with the income primarily generated through tournament prize purses, jersey sponsorships, and brand endorsements. And you got to think about it. These are a bunch of guys throwing a beanbag in a hole.
And it's sponsored by Johnsonville, so they probably get like a lifetime supply of Johnsonville Franks or something like that.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody on Saturday, and they do natural bodybuilding, and she do what's the barrel horse racing or something like that. Barrel racing, yeah. And she told me that she gets more doing barrel racing than in bodybuilding, and she's not a pro yet, but yeah, she's trying to. She was talking long, but she was basically telling me that for her to like get the expenses together, she had to people had to support her, people that she know from work, they donated money. So
yeah, that I remember Amanda Snooks, who was a pro, but I don't think she's done pro debut yet, has she? Or maybe she did, but she did barrel racing too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, yeah. I mentioned in his live, I was listening to because she did barrel racing back in the day. I said, yeah, Amanda. She's also the lady that interviewed Miss Ann. She's from Canada too, so I pointed that out. But yeah, again, this is where we go to the shows and buy the tickets and this that. They still, the prize money is not much. You can get top threes like with the Pittsburgh Pro. I think that altogether prize money was over $400,000, but a good amount of it is going to go to the men's division because they're going to get at least about, I think it was we added to the Pittsburgh Pro last year. It was 100,000, and I remember one year when Natalia competed. That was the year when Sarah was putting up some prize money for shows, and she gave out $20,000. That was, I think, it was. And that's a good chunk of change, Or remember with the Rising Phoenix, they were giving out $50,000 for first place, plus a car. Then there was a little incentive, so you get best poser, best video, most muscular. That was like $2,000 or $3,000 there. And also they should do these little incentives too, where they pay for you, give you per diem, give you a little money on the side for coming. They pay for your photo session. You get photo sessions for free because you have to pay for photo sessions. And also little stuff here and there. That's the thing that really helped. But then, as you know, Jake is focused on the Olympia. And it takes a lot of money to get that show together. Even though when you have of a lot of big advertisers backing it, it's still, I think when both Jeremy and not Jeremy, sorry, David and Alex went to Olympia, what was for you your expenses? Because we'll go with Alex and hear him talk more slightly.
Oh yeah, I remember how much it cost me to get there by plane, especially as last minute decision. It was, I mean, eventually I took a payment plan. It took a while for everything to get paid up. I mean, I had some little help here and there, but yeah, it was. Sometimes it's hard to plan. Sometimes it's hard to plan to go to a contest accordingly under your income and budget and such. I do my best, to show my support either way, and works what's best for me. I just, it was something I wanted to do, and for the most part, it was a good time. I just, had there were there were a bit of consequences. The outcome, what I had to expect, and yeah, amazing how things get pricey so fast. I mean, you should see how fast how expensive the VIP experiences are gone fast already.
David?
Yeah, it definitely is expensive to go to Vegas these days. One thing that it kind of impacts me because Spirit doesn't exist anymore, but there was nonstop Spirit flights from Tampa to Las Vegas, and I used to take that, save some money. And now they don't even, they're not even running anymore. And to save costs on hotel, I stayed at the Circus, which is kind of next door to the Resorts World, because Resorts World is very expensive. And Circus is probably one of the cheapest on the Strip, but it's not luxurious. It's kind of a little bit shitty kind of thing and kind of old, but at least, kind of kept my costs down too. Yeah, traveling to Vegas or traveling to any show, gosh. I'm thinking about a range, probably anywhere from 500 to 1,000 to go to a show and cover all your expenses. Maybe sometimes a little bit more than that.
Mm-hmm. Like with me, I remember when I went to Tampa and David, he drew me around a couple places, picked me up, but then I still had to get an Uber because, he was busy, he was doing stuff and getting ready for stuff. And I got an Uber and that was expense right there. This place I stayed at, I think it was altogether maybe a little about $300, but it was like one of those city stays. So, I wish I had some pasta stuff I can cook, but I didn't. You could have to take all that. I also took a train, but here's one thing I forgot to do. I forgot to make it a round trip, so I had to buy a ticket to get back. So to North Carolina, and I was planning on jumping on a plane this year. I was gonna get myself a real ID, but then, as the price have soared on plane costs with barely the cost of fuel being expensive, and these companies have to make up for that gain. So they'll put it onto the ticket buyers. And plus, with me, I'm a bigger dude. Some of those airports will charge you for extra seat. I saw a thing with a brother who was like, he was 700 pounds. He dropped down to 500 pounds, and he told a story how he got on a plane. Then he had to charge for another seat. Then because they put him in his seats together, he had to really change the whole thing. He had to change his whole flight plan, midway through. So they set him up. But that's expensive. That's why I say I'm going to this next show coming up. I'm going by train again. The last time I took a train was that I had to wait 5-6 hours for a transfer there and back. But with this one, I'm looking and researching. It's a straight shot. It's going to take me at least pretty much about a day, but it saves you a few bucks. It's like maybe at least over $100.
My experience when I was traveling to go to shows, I would try to look for the Staybridge suites that were in the area. And the reason being is because those all have kitchens. They all
those are nice.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, exactly. I mean, the price was reasonable. If you went to like Priceline or Hotels.com or something like that to try and see if you could save money that way, because I found some really good deals. But if you want to save some money, I mean, going to a Staybridge, then if you want to eat, you don't have to eat out all the time. You could actually go to like a grocery store, buy your own food, and then be able to save some money that way if you're heading to shows. So
yeah, that's true. That's a good point. I actually did that at New York Pro because they had a fridge there. I didn't have like place to cook, but I did just collect a bunch of food and make sandwiches and stuff, and like fruit and veggies and stuff. And I just, ate there at the room mostly just to save money on the expenses for the restaurants or whatever. And there really wasn't any restaurants within walking distance except for at the Marriott, and it was very expensive too. So yeah, that's not a bad idea. I actually, we actually have Abby Lopez in the comments. I wonder if she would join in.
Well,
She's awesome.
Abby Lopez. Oh, we hadn't seen Abby in a long time. I hadn't been. We was discussing. I hadn't looked at the comment section. Here we have in the comment section we have here. Shout out to Paul Grice Shop. He said, he says this says, get Billie Jean King. She's always fought for women's sports. She may not fight for women's bodybuilding. Shout out to our brother here, Josh Simpkins. He says, what's good, George in Empire Nation? Sorry, I can't be on the podcast today. I'm at work. That's all right, brother. Also, shout out to him. He says, will say the women's division should pay a little bit more, specifically shows like the New York Pro and the Pittsburgh Pro. And even if they do guest pose, they should get paid for that as well. I think he do pay for guest posing because they're gonna have to do it for free. We have here from my man Ryan Lake. He says, hello, David. Also, Ryan says this. He says, David, I like your interviews with Hayden Mola. I interviewed Hayden. You like my interview with her too?
Yeah, she's awesome. I like her.
Yeah. I wonder if she's gonna be making a pro debut. She has, potential. Also, we have here. Shout out to he says, hello, brothers, happy Monday. And here we have here. He says, this is from Abby Lopez. Says, hey guys. It says, she says, hey, we love Staybridge. Yeah, shout out to Abby. Now, Abby just did a show over the weekend. John Simmons showed her husband getting some guest posing. So you want to go to Abby's IG and check it out. And also a friend, Melissa Freeman, also competed at that show. We also have here from a man, Sean McMillan says, good afternoon. Thank you, brother. Good afternoon to you. And we have here to you, Abby. If Abby got a chance you want to jump on, we can use some ladies here. There's a lot of guys. We can make this a little fun. And he says, hello, Abby Lopez, everyone on the chat as well. Oh, thank you, Lawrence. Appreciate that. So this is something I also saw. And this is one thing. People forget that the guys, they do have their expenses, but they also have a way. Some guys try to make a way for themselves. I saw this is a while back. I saw it on the IG. And it's a point somebody makes about how the men had to go through some things. Now, people think about women go through a lot, but guys go through something too. So
posing for a guy in a hotel room, getting paid a couple $1,000s. I mean, you're posing on stage. So everybody in bodybuilding has done gays for pay. If you got money from Joe Weider, that's gay. Bodybuilding is full of gays. Gays are everywhere. If you're going to dinner with a fan, most likely they're gay. So that's gay for pay. If you're getting your thing, that is gay. Yes, that it would be considered
for me, I'm comfortable in my own skin. I don't discriminate against any, sexuality, preference, whatever. Here's the thing. I never lost any of my the gay community's fan. I have a huge fan base like that, right?
You lose most.
I didn't lose my fans, especially in New York. But when you come to me with with Melvin, I would like to. This happened to me in New York. I'll never forget it. I'd like for you to come to my abode. I said, yo, what? And he said, I'm gonna have some comrades, some people in my area of expertise at my home, and I would like for you to come and display. I said, display what? No, Milo see the dude, the arm ran away. Yeah, he 10 grand. 10 grand. I was like, to do what? To pose for your friends at your abode. I said, I'm good. You know what I'm talking about? So then he asked me, he said, what's it? There's another favorite we have is Lee Priest. I gave Lee Priest's room number. I said, call Lee if you want Lee to do it. Lee was laughing at me. He's like, man, you sent that fool to my room. I was like, I'm not gonna do it,
You don't know how many free vacations I got, but I would say, hey, can my fiance come with me? And they're like, yeah, they were cool with it. Me and my fiance at the time, we got so many badass vacations, Hawaii 3 times with the same dude, and then I just have to go to dinner with him a couple times. Posing for a guy.
Yeah, that's one thing.
So it's like the opposite of the women bodybuilders with the schmoes. So like the gay guys are the schmoes.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah,
Because there is people like this. Shout out to happy belated birthday to my big brother, Mr. Big Keith Williams. You know, we will have him on here, but I saw he celebrated his birthday in Vegas. I hope you enjoy your time with your lovely wife. I owe you for touching my girl, but he pointed that out to me a while back. How really much there's a bigger, more than the women, there's a bigger fan base among gay men because you like he pointed out back in the day, Joe Weider used to, guys like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Franco Colombo. We just lost a man who just passed away, Albert Beckles, back in the day. He was one of those guys that also made money through, Joe Weider sponsoring. He did it with Ron Glass and so many other competitors. He paid for their bodybuilding, but you don't have anybody doing that now. I remember doing an interview with Nancy Lewis. She remembered how she used to make money. She had to worry about anything because she had, covered some of her costs. Well, folks, we got a lady. We got a lady.
All right.
Yeah, it's one woman. So hey, I don't do no sharing. I don't do no sharing, guys. Not to take your turns, but I ain't doing nothing. Hey, Abby, we have here is the lovely Abby Lopez, and she's right on the Stairmaster. And welcome, ma'am. Thank you for coming through. We really want to get, and we do appreciate the aspect from a woman of the thought of, do you think that you as a competitor deserve making a living in this sport, even though it's a hobby sport that you love? You think there should be more lucrative opportunities for y'all competitors?
Oh, for sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I think it's ridiculous how much the men make compared to women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because Andrew Jack, I think he just did the Pittsburgh Pro this weekend. When he was there, he did the Army. We were there. Andrew got $750,000 from that show. Went over to Great Britain and got another $250,000. He just made $1 million within 2 weeks.
Wow, that's crazy.
Ridiculous.
But we all know, and I say this, the men are like this. The men, if you know the pimping game, the men are the bottom bitch. The bottom bitch makes the money for the pimp. Jim Mannion, he's the pimp. And and the men's division is the bottom bitch. The women struggle. Like I keep saying, like Andrea being the Miss Olympia, $50,000. It's a good chunk of change, but she's the Miss Olympia. I think she should get at least $100,000, a little more. Even someone like Natalia, or even the other divisions. I think at one point they used to give top 10 up to about $50,000 was the bottom for maybe 10th place.
Yeah, and then you also consider it's like the total, like for natural bodybuilding, like the OCB. From what I saw their website, they said their total prize money, and as far as I know, this is men's and women's, is like $450,000 or $300,000, something like that. That is what the winner of the Arnold Classic makes at that one show. So take the entire amount of money that's spent on an entire bodybuilding federation and giving it to one guy at the Arnold Classic. And then also, Linda Murray pointed this out. This guy is getting $450,000 with the existing women's divisions they have. They have $150,000 divided among 18 women. Whereas you have $450,000 going to one guy. To show the disparity there. It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
But we all know because the men's bring the attention. So like if you look at compared to the WNBA to the NBA, right now they're in the middle of their championship season, getting ready for the conference, getting ready for the playoffs, and they make a lot of money. Sometimes it's not just from playing for the league; it's mostly from sponsorship. Michael Jordan, remember, he said do commercials for Gatorade, Ballpark, Nike, so many different brands and labels, and that's where good money comes from. And NFL, I think they're the only ones that don't have a salary cap. I think it's NFL, NBA, not NBA, or Major League Baseball. One of those don't have a salary cap. You can keep as much as you can. like we talked about how before how these guys can take steroids, but no one's going to make an eye about them because they're a bunch of millionaires. Even was it? I remember one rookie, he was offered for just his first year, about I think it was like $20 million. He just got out of college, and as a prospect, that was a starting. Then you got to go, or then once you start making your money, especially if you start winning championships and getting titles and getting endorsements, you can really make a good living. Or and you look at other sports where even now in college, you get paid. You can make money because some companies would use images on games, like the video games, and use images of the college players. So they say, like, use my image. Why not we get paid for it?
Yeah. And it's like one other option, since we were talking about ways people can make money. One is to consider other interests outside of bodybuilding and see about potentially starting a business involving that in the bodybuilding community. Case in point would be Haley and Marcus Perry. She goes by Haley Storm over on IG. I mean, they both have their own business. I think Marcus has got I think he has a construction company, and then I know Haley, I think, works as an RN, but also they both like to cook, and so they started their own spice company. They started their own Perry Spices, and as far as I know, they're marketing that at bodybuilding shows. So one possibility is it may be, as far as competition goes, it may take some time, but instead of taking that $12,000-$15,000, consider for like 1 year, take that money and then invest it in a business, and then enter that business into the bodybuilding community, like what the Perrys have done, and then that's just one example. I know Michelle Brent. She long ago she had Michelle's Magic Morsels because she started a cookie company. As far as I know, it very well. Now she and her husband are doing Brent's Bling, which are bodybuilding related jewelry. She's also marketing that. So that's one possibility, is that you may have to take a year off to do it, but I mean, to take the money that you otherwise would have accumulated for competition and instead invest that in a business related to an interest of yours outside of bodybuilding and bring that company into the bodybuilding community to be able to make some money. Then you've also got Andrea Sauer, Ripped Vixen. She just posted not too long ago. She is now opening her own personal training studio. And she was looking forward to that. So it's like, that's one possibility, is that take an interest you like, start a business and related to it, and then bring that into the bodybuilding community. That can be a moneymaker. There's no guarantee of success, but it gives you a chance.
And one person I always want to point out is my dear sister. What do you say, Alex?
Well, what about Bad Rep with Eunice and JoJo?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I just got this over the weekend. My Bad Rep towel. I ordered a towel and these stickers, and she took and she had it monogrammed my name on it. I feel so special. Nice. She gave me a nice little letter, but also I got this with it. She sent it to me. I didn't order this, but a new baseball cap. It's tougher than leather.
Nice.
Look at that. Yeah, I mean, and what she's doing, because you know what, she put up some of the prize money. Both her and David, they were sponsors for the Triple O. I sponsored the couple of jackets for that show, and I wish I could do more. I mean, I would love to do a little more, but I live on a budget and they got stretch dollars. But what she's doing, always got pulling up my friend Eunice, what she's doing and put up a fight. One thing she says that to order to get have some skin in the game at these shows, you have to put down at least $10,000 to be serious, taken seriously as a sponsor or promoter for sponsorship to sponsor a show. Because that's covering the I think it was the sanctions fees, the prize money. Sarah, what she was doing for a long time for the Texas Pro, put up $20,000, or was it $15,000 to cover the cost of the prize money. That was just for the winner, and then the other prize money, was from the promoter. And that's what it is. So like this, that's why I say, people, go to my friend Eunice's site bad rap, and if you want to, help promote them, if you like I said, I can't buy a shirt because I'm a fat guy in a little coat, but I do wear I'm in my prime on Doc Holiday. Yeah, but go to their buy products, ladies, socks, so and also they help sponsor athletes. This is I remember doing a little session we had the last time we had Jeremy on, and he points them out. I was like going through some videos. I found it was from our last live a while back, and we talked about and this is why I love Jeremy. I call him my brother, and as long as you don't put your hand on my girls, Jeremy, I love you. But he really this is why I always appreciate when he comes through, because his knowledge and understanding about bodybuilding. Jeremy, I love you, but he's really on his game. So this is a video I took from one of you to cut it. Give me a second. I'm going to pull it up, and he really gives a good point, because this is why we want him to get back on board again. Whenever his situation gets settled, we'd love to see him do some interviews, ladies. Reach out to him. We want to set up interviews, or just we need to get him out there, because we need more like me, him, David, guys like KL, guys like the Female Bodybuilding Channel, guys like Claudio and Hardcore, female bodybuilding fan. We need more of us out here to talk about stuff like this. Those guys might talk about particularly more about this, but this is the in-depth stuff. We need people like myself and Jeremy and also David to really get to depth stuff. So here's this. I'm gonna pull it up.
Like majority of times, like this is supervisor at work. We talk about a little bit on. Hello.
We just lost it.
Oh.
Hello.
I think something happened to his Probably he gotta come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he does. Yeah.
Can you guys still hear me?
We can hear everybody. The problem is we can't see anybody. So maybe he got cut off for some reason. Maybe he'll be back in a second. But
hey, Abby.
Somebody go ahead.
I was curious what Abby thinks about collective bargaining for women.
Here you go. I'm back. I don't know what happened. I just popped back. I'm back in. But folks, I'm going to pull up the video that I had. Give me a second, because I had a little situation. I don't know what's going on. Here we go. If I can get it up. Okay, Alex is back. Where's Alex? I had a little technical difficulties. Maybe I'm running too many apps at one time.
Go. Yeah, guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Give me a second. Let me see if I can put it back up again, because I have a little technical difficulties.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you too. Give me a second. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Should be right here. And I'll play it for y'all.
It's not easy to raise the 15 grand, and you need to be able to do a competition prep for this or pretty much any division on the professional level. And that's just what kills me, is because they call themselves a professional league. This is the only professional league, quote unquote, that I know of in which you can't make a profession off of competing. The overwhelming majority of the competitors don't make anything. I mean, most other professional leagues, professional, AKA earn a living, making a profession off of this. The overwhelming majority of competitors, men and women alike, make absolutely nothing. The one and only way that you get actual money from this is to place in a placing where you can actually get some prize money to get some return on your investment. The overwhelming majority get nothing. So they're paying all this money, but they're not getting any return on investment. It's the only professional league I know of that does this. Every other one that I know of pays a base salary for its competitive, pays so that they can in fact compete. So it's like I hear the women in the WNBA and I hear the women in women's pro soccer complaining about the salaries that they're making, and I'm like, ladies, you're making a salary. You get You get paid in dollars and cents. In women's bodybuilding or in the women's division, period, you're paid in jack and squat. That's what you get. So it's like, I'm sorry that so few turned out, but it's not easy to do that. It's not easy to come up with $15,000 every year, which you fully well know is gone, that you're not going to see any return on investment for. So I'm sorry, I'm not surprised that when the Rising Phoenix, when they not only took away the world championship aspect of it, but they also got rid of the prize money. Is it any wonder that only 5 women showed up last year? As opposed to what, the 15, 16 that were showing up when it started and also continued on until they decided to get rid of that? I mean, and then they also say, oh, but why do so many women go to OnlyFans? Or why do so many women go to webcamming? Or why do so many women even do live sessions to this day? It's like, why do you think? For a lot of them, this is the way they're getting their money to be able to do what they want to do.
Yeah, he made a good, strong point about that, because some women do that. They do, as I call them, that's what I call them, the beat the meat websites. That's what they are. Guys go on there because, hey, you got nothing to do. Like chilling. And
I met somebody. No.
Go ahead.
I met somebody last week, and they was a professional bodybuilder. They retired, and they was telling me that, they stopped doing it because they was into the session thing, and they wasn't getting paid enough in bodybuilding. And so what I was about to say, I'm trying to get everything together, but I hate that shit. But damn, I was trying to say, but they was getting paid, but it just, my mind just slipped out. But she was telling me how she didn't. Yeah, this is what I wanted to say. The IFBB, they make these rules for these women, not to do these things, but they don't really pay them, and that's why they tend to do, make a living of doing sessions and OnlyFans and all that type of stuff. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. It just slipped out of my mind, but yeah, they're not really paying them like that. But they have all these guidelines and rules and telling them what they should do and what they shouldn't do. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, how do you get the money? How do they get the money? Because it's like all the pro shows, the women hustle, all of them. All women, maybe not everybody is doing it, but guarantee you that there are women who go to shows not necessarily to compete, but that's where they do their stuff. That's where they do live sessions. When I was going to the Arnold Classic, Jen Scarpetta, who won the Toronto Pro, I'm trying to remember what year it was in women's bodybuilding, and we had talked with each other. I was Mr. Anti-Schmodem at the time, and I was like trying to get her off of doing sessions. And it's like, look at all these women who are out here on the expo floor. I mean, they're making money. Why go and do something like sessions? Why not do something like that instead of sessions? And she looked at me like I was from Mars, said, Jeremy, why would I go and do something that I'm paid $200, $300 for the entire weekend, with just the other day doing sessions? I cleared $4,000, 4,000 cash on the barrelhead. And that's just like one example. I mean, that's why women turn to this stuff. It's lucrative. I mean, depending on who you are, it's like now with the internet now and with OnlyFans, I don't think it probably happens as much, but still, I mean, you go to these shows, the women are there and that's what they're doing. A lot of them are doing. Not everybody, of course, but quite a few are.
I think that's going to bite them in the ass a little bit, because in the term of people taking them seriously, of looking at them like athletes. That's just me,
You're right.
Then they complain about guys doing dick pics and all that stuff, and you know, or looking at them in a way or doing some creepy stuff, they're not gonna like look at them like if it was like a Serena Williams or something like that, or they just gonna look at them as a fetish. You know, a lot of times, you know, for me, you know, it drew me closer because I didn't always look at them as an athlete. I looked at them a little bit more as a fetish than athlete. The fetish was up like this high, and the athlete maybe, you know, smaller. You know, so I mean that can really, I mean, I understand, you know, why they do it, but at the same time is even if they wasn't bodybuilders, even if they was, it still would bite them in the rear end. It's gonna affect them.
It does.
Yeah.
When I sorry, just say one thing real quick.
But
It's just that exactly is what happens, Kay, in the mainstream national media. Every single time that I've seen somebody doing a segment on female bodybuilding in the mainstream national media, the big places, it is the same narrative every time, and it is the same three subjects: psychology, steroids, and sessions. They are always brought up. So when people go away from hearing this segment about bodybuilding, that's what they hear about it. That these women either are all suffering from serious psychological problems that compelled them to do this, or all of them, regardless of who you are, even the women's apparently unnatural shows, are all on steroids. But it also gives the impression these women are all doing sessions. And that's what people take away from it. So you're absolutely right, Kay. The problem is and that really does come to bite them in the ass. I mean, it not just because the mainstream national media does it, but the fact that so many women do in fact do it.
like, well, good example like this. Andrew Yo, she does it, and that's why I think one reason why she doesn't place as well. Some say she has a better physique than Andrea, but then she's not as even in the bottom half of her. Some like this one example, Lola Montez. Some feel like she should have been. To me, honestly, I think she should have been the figure Olympian champion over Rhea Gale. She's a great look, very attractive, but because she does, exclusive stuff, and the NPC IVB is a brand, and they want to protect their brand. But here's the thing: is a company like OnlyFans has been around for a long time. They promote fighters. There's fighters who do OnlyFans. I know some ladies who have done it in the past because it's a way to make money. And if you want them not to do this, well, give them some kind of stipend, give them some kind of financial assistance, something that where they don't have to do it, where they don't, because like this, it's like anything. Like this, even in the stripping and in sex game, the guys still make more money than the women because there's a bigger fetish for because go back to the guys talking about doing posing for gay dudes. I'm like this. I'm like, hey, it may not be the 80s, but I'm looking at Abby. I'm down with the ladies. So and I know we had this interview with Lady Arwen. She said that she'll go either way because she's gay, but she will go straight for pay because the fact is, it's a way to make money. There's guys out there who would like to be with a woman with big muscles sexually, or just to do something really freaky or weird. We go back to that situation like Keith tell me. I always watch that Keith. The Kai Green thing. What he did years ago, the grapefruit, and I pointed out, said that's not. It is because you really not gonna like to see a guy poking a grapefruit. Who's that for? A particular group of men who like that. Or he told me about Jay Cutler, how he would take some of his old clothes. There are a lot of porn stars used to do that. They used to sell their old panties and their old bras and stuff to guys. They buy it because guys are into that stuff. It's something like that to be fetishized. This is where, if you want to keep this from happening, what you need to do. Put in some kind of stipend. Also, the prize money, not just the prize money, when you pay that sanction fee to compete, because Abby has to, when she ever think about making her pro debut, she has to, pay to keep up her pro card status. So I'm asking them, where's that money going to? You have all these new, just saw a young lady, her name is, I think her name is Renice Hardy, just got a pro card at the Pittsburgh Pro for natural bodybuilding. Impressive young lady. She has a great potential to do well in the sport. She actually did a couple of shows and she did pretty good. Now she's a pro, so she could have. I don't know if she could, if she wanted to do it, but she could have done that. She could have paid. Cause I remember a couple of ladies did this when they get that pro card at the show, which is a pro qualifier. They can do the show the next day that is a pro show. And I got to pay another $300 to get your pro card right then and there. They did that with shows like the Mr. International at the Chicago Pro when you have women's bodybuilding. But now this year you're not gonna have women's bodybuilding, but they could do it, and they could do women's physique if they want. If they get a pro card, hey, you want to take on stage, you want to compete. Hey, they don't matter. Hey, it doesn't tell you what division you're doing. It's a pro card. You know, there are so many ways that could do this, but again, it's about keeping the money in their pockets, but not putting towards their athletes. While I'm talking this also, this news we saw, especially with women's bodybuilding, we lost a couple of shows. Not going to be Chicago, got kicked out of New York, lost the Grand Prix show. Another promoter stepped up, and this is from Far Labs Mexico, and they're doing. Mexico is having next year women's bodybuilding. And this is something great because this show just started last year. And I interviewed Miss Keo Larson, who got a pro card at North America's. And she made her pro debut at the World Championships. And also, she's from Mexico. She's also did this show. And this is great. If anybody who's a competitor, this is a site. And they already made an announcement. See, So this is some big news. So
yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah, because women's bodybuilding, we lost a few shows this year. This is for qualification for next year's Olympia for 2027. So man, David just left, so David had to leave. So see David later. Appreciate David for coming through. So this is a big thing. Here, thing is also, you got to remember, folks, the American dollar is higher in Mexico than it is here in any other country. So, and also they do the show in Brazil, and also the American dollars is more than the real. I remember a lady I interviewed a while back, Mandy Polk. She's a former IFB Pro Fitness competitor and an MMA fighter, and she went down to Brazil to help train another fighter. And she was going through stuff. I said, you know what? If you need to, I'll send you a few bucks. I sent her about, I think, was $20 through PayPal, and she got it. And what happens, because the Rios is lower than the American dollar, that $20 went to 100. So if you are a competitor and the US dollar is higher than the Mexico peso. Now getting there is going to be probably expensive. You're going to fly down there, but once you get there, it's your American dollars are going to stretch a lot farther. So if you got $1,000, ladies, you go to Mexico and Brazil, that money is going to triple and double.
David asks a really good question here. He had to run out, but he wants to know what Abby thinks about unionizing the ladies in collective bargaining to see whether or not things can be improved. Do you think that would work, Abby?
Does what work? Sorry.
You said
Go ahead.
unionizing and collective bargaining. Like you come to unions and try to bargain for about salary or pay. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I think that would work. I can hear you.
Okay. She's busy. She's on treadmill. She's getting ready. We got here, my man No Dose coming through. He says hi to everyone. Hi to you, brother. He's from Croatia. Shout out to man David. He was, appreciate him coming through. I know he's a busy man, and and I hope he's also David is planning on going to the Optima next week. That's one of the last shows for this month. There's no shows this week because we just had the Pittsburgh Pro, and that's where we go back to the promoters. They talk about the big problem with, especially for sponsor division, is getting sponsorship and money. But what costs are they? Do they have to when they reach out for sanctions? Do they have to put up some kind of cost assessment to the IFBB or an NPC when they do a show? Because with the amateurs, they have to pay to compete. Other than getting the NPC card, then doing maybe one or two divisions or classes, and and also to still have the expenses. Like Abby, when your last show, what was your biggest expense when you competed?
Definitely the hair and makeup. That was like $550.
Yeah, and that's like $550 hair and makeup. Well, with us guys like me, for my last haircut was like $35. I just that was it. It just shaved my head. But women, y'all have more hair.
For me,
how much?
$21.
Oh, yeah. Who's your barber? I want to. Did you black hair? Yeah. What about you, kid? When was your last haircut?
Like 30, sometimes 40.
Mm-hmm. I have 4 places like those.
Yeah, because men we don't need it much, because we're like the fashion industry. It really goes towards more towards the women, because just had the gala a while back, and and women, they have more expenses. A guy just got to get a. I think my first tuxedo I rented was when I went my senior prom, and I think it was $90-something or some change, and that was back in '93. And the cost of everything goes up every other year. Right now, gas in where I live is like about almost $4. What about you, Abby? What's the price of gas in your area?
It's about $4, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. But out west, I know California's like 6 or 7. It's crazy.
Yeah, it shows the disparity. It shows the disparity because just like posing suits versus posing trunks, the
I'm
men.
not a lot. You're going to be on the internet.
It's interesting that it's like the guys. What do they spend in posing trunks, as opposed to the women, when it comes to their posing suits? I mean, the posing suits to get all together, it can run up to $1,000, depending on who the suit designer is. I don't know any guy who's spent that kind of money, even in something like men's physique with board shorts. I don't even know if they spend that much money. Because, like, Abby, what did you spend last year just for your posing suits?
$800.
Right. It's like, does any guy spend that for posing trunks or posing?
Is Paul with you? Is Paul with you, Abby?
Yeah, he's sleeping on the treadmill next to me.
like ask him how much was his banana hammocks. He wears.
Right. How much?
Like $50.
$50.
50.
$50. Shout out to my man David here. He says this. He says, "I'm going to see Susan Matheson at Optima." Oh man, that man got that girl got you. David, I know I talk about myself. That girl got him like he got him addicted. He be calling my name, man. She be calling my name, But that's the thing, is that this is a sport that seems a hobby. And to me, when I had conversation with people like Abby, the young lady who was interviewed yesterday, a couple of ladies who compete in the sport, we talk about stuff like that: the price, the cost, the travel expenses, the food, the hair, the makeup. show day. Then after it's all done, like I did an interview with a lovely lady, Madeline Stanek, where she talked about her and her husband. They were like, after the last show, they were just nearly in zero. And she just turned pro last year. And she's going to make her pro debut in a couple of weeks. And now you have to step up because now you're getting to the bigger realm, meaning your suits have to be better. Your training has to change. Food is also big. Mass consumption of food is very important. If you can, like, I know some ladies do some couponing. You go to some places like some grocery stores where they have deals. There's so much involved in this. Shout out to my man. Appreciate my man Art of Female Muscle says, I gotta head out. Congrats getting 5,000 subs, George. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. We also lost a couple of other people. Wait a minute, Alex is back.
Yeah,
I appreciate Art and Abby's back. And and just the thing is that especially for Abby, what drives you as a competitor? Knowing that you have a kid, because you still got a grown boy, you got to take care of him, and and you want to compete. Where this is what's it worth for you? If you're lucky enough, you might make about, if you get in the top 3, you might get a couple of $1,000s.
I'm in it for the love of the sport. I love bodybuilding. I love being on stage. It's where I shine. It's where I feel the best. I'm just in it for the love. I'm not in it for money because there is no money. So.
It's true, because there's no money. You have to do it because you love it. You have to do it because you love the competition. You love the training. You love everything, how it changes your body. We love it too because we're fans. We love how y'all ladies, like we said again, y'all ladies rock hard. We're rock hard. But but we as a fans, like for myself, I feel like any athlete, you should have opportunities to make a living, so you're able to. Well, one day when it's all said and done, when I say, I can retire, I can finish, I can go off and live my life. Also, another promoter, I just put this up a while ago. Another promoter is also doing something. Shout out to Austin Carr. He runs the Triple O Dynasty, and he added to his show women's physique is going to be added to the Triple O Dynasty in November. So if you are a physique competitor, and you had quite more shows after the Olympia, but now you have an extra show post Olympia. So if you're interested, go check out the Steve Carr show. Shout out to Austin Carr. It's named after his father, Steve Carr. So you want to go there, check it out. I know, talking to my man David, say think about going there. Maybe you might go there. But we got here some comments here. Shout out to my man KL, the one who says, George had to head out, but thanks. Appreciate it, brother. No, thank you for coming through. So I'm not gonna hold y'all much longer. And since Abby was the last person,
since she guest host last week, can we ask how that experience was for her?
Yeah, you guest post. How was the experience for you?
It was really fun. Yeah, it was. I was nervous about this guy dancing because teaching him how to dance is like no.
It's like teaching a mule how to walk, huh?
Yeah, I'm like
thinking about a handstand. Are you feeling okay right now?
Yeah. That was a hard move. I don't know if you guys watched it, but that was a hard move. That was a bunch of core. So.
Well, you got it in your IG. I think so. Your IG, you posted it. Because I saw it. And also, Melissa, your friend Melissa Freeman was there. How did she do?
She did really good. She got overall figure. So.
Congratulations. So that's also. Is she planning on doing a national this year? We think, she's going to take the.
I think she's doing North Americans.
North Americans, yeah, it's just around the corner. Can you think about it? It's like that's going to be in September. Maybe she also, if she wants, she can also throw in her hat and make a pro debut.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I mean, hey, do that. So, you know what? I'm not going to hold too much of my guest here. This the thing is, I'm gonna give this to Abby. As a competitor, as you say again, you love the sport, you love doing it, but share with us. Do you really think you deserve some kind of compensation as a
Oh,
bodybuilder?
for sure. Yep, for sure. 100%. I have to put in, I mean, he puts in work, the guy next to me, but the amount of work that a female has to put in compared to a male, it's night and day. You know what I mean? You guys have the ability to build muscle where it takes us a lot longer and more work to do. Not saying that you don't work hard. I'm just saying it takes us more time and more push. So,
Because as men, we have natural testosterone. It's in our system. We
yeah.
can build muscle because we're built for rugged stuff. Y'all women, y'all soft and feminine, and y'all make our babies. So But you know what? This is a sport where if you are, it's not also again we go back. It's not always about drugs. If you are dedicated, if you are determined, if you are disciplined, if you are patient, if you understand that everything is not going to go as fast as you want it to go. Like this weekend, Paula Ranta, 26 years old, and just amazing. But it took her many years to get to that level, even at 26. We got to hear from the man David for you. Abby says, Abby is so awesome, very sweet.
Well,
Aww.
thank you.
Baby, she's married. You don't be talking to a married woman, especially with a husband right around the corner. So,
Actually, he ran away from me now. I don't know where he went.
He probably give me some little water. He'd be all right. So, folks, this is where we feel like this. If you are somebody, I keep saying this, who has a means and a way to help support, not just women's bodybuilding in general. If you are a business, and I know the stigma of bodybuilding about steroids like that, but it's still a sport. If you want to make it professional sport, and also competitors, I know many of you are not going to put yourself out there. You're not going to say, you know what, let me do something. They put no because you worry about yourself. Because this is really let's say it's a selfish sport, bodybuilding. And right now we know what the women have been doing. They're trying to come together with the group chat and also try to get an opportunity for women bodybuilding to have a family chance. But we just got a couple of shows now this year, and we're doing all right. If you are someone who has that, you can afford to donate or sponsor an athlete, or talk to a promoter, say, hey, what do you need from me to help? Maybe give a little prize money to the competitors. Instead of just making it top 3 of the show, maybe top 6. Or, I know this is like with this, what I learned from this about the bodybuilding world, it's like a mafia. Y'all know who's the father of who sits at the head table, who's the boss of all bosses, that's Jim Mannion. But if you are somebody who's particularly interested in sport, and you don't worry about what people think about you, because instead again, if guys tell me if I like rough women like Abby and say that I'm gay, well again, you change my name from Don Juan to Twan. But if you are someone who genuinely wants support, not just the women, but the athletes in this sport, if you have a means of way, if you have a business plan, it is something that's very lucrative, not just for the athletes, but also for the IFB and NPC, where they can make something they can use that to go back to the athletes. So they, some competitors don't have to do OnlyFans or have to, work 3 or 4 jobs or have to steal from Peter to pay Paul to make to the shows. Again, reach out, have a plan, making sure it's work, and don't be worried about what somebody says about what you are, why you like the sport, why you're a fan of it. Don't, like people you just think out, make funny comments. Those people, they got nothing else to do with their lives. That's what it is. So, folks, I do like to appreciate my guests coming through. Shout out to my man KL the Wanderer, my man David, my man Jeremy. Go check out their channels and content. My guests came here, Nodos and Lawrence Perkins, Sean McMillan, Ryan Lake, Josh from the shout out to Josh of the Women's Bodybuilding Empire Nation. Paul comes through. Abby's here. What's the plan for this year?
I'm aiming for the Atlanta Pro, so we'll see.
Well, A-Town, I got family up there, man. I got a plan for another show. Maybe next year I might go. But yeah, because I got new.
Except women's physique is on Sunday, and that's my rest day, so we're having a little issue with that.
You know what? Sometimes you gotta let issues go. You gotta,
I'm like,
or
dang it, why are they on Sunday?
well, you just had Pittsburgh Pro on Sunday for Women's Week, because I think you want to get out the amateurs out of the way first. But I
Yeah,
think amateurs go last. But the thing with amateurs, promoters make money from the amateurs because they're paying for classes and divisions.
I think if I remember the schedule right, I think the amateurs are split too. I think some go Saturday, some go Sunday. I don't know, don't quote me, but I think some go Saturday and some go Sunday. Crazy.
Well, yeah. Alex, what you been up to, son? How's your job been going?
I'm doing pretty good. It's going to be a quiet week for me, guys. Alex has plans this week for himself. He's, as well planned out, wants to make sure it's everything pretty well. Planning to propose to his girlfriend.
Got a girlfriend?
His girlfriend. My brother.
Oh,
He's going to propose to his girlfriend.
congratulations, congratulations, young man, congratulations to him. Also, folks, I'm gonna do my Sunday roundtable discussion. If you're interested in taking part of that discussion, where we talk about a subject that we talked about before, but we really need to go depth to is you noticed. I'm seeing and hearing a lot of competitors are going down certain divisions. Last year, Christina Mendoza and also Julia Wetzel are going down to wellness. Also I'm hearing stories about bikini competitors going down to fit model. Excuse me, hot. You know, and we're going to talk about that on my Sunday roundtable discussion. So if you are a competitor who does either one of those divisions, be it physique, wellness, bikini, fit model, figure, and you have an issue, we've seen competitors coming from bigger divisions coming down to your division, really give your opinion on it, because I think some people got a lot of opinions on that. So, folks, also, again, I go back to this. If you are somebody who has the means, like if it's like, what's $25? That's like a new pair of shoes for you, or putting gas in your Bugatti. If you can do that and offer some kind of package or plan to a competitor, and even reach out to promoters and the officials of the NPC IPB to help fund some athletes, have a plan, make it junior, and have it to work. Because most definitely, this is a serious business. Bodybuilding, there's money here somewhere, but you just got to really be able to find it and really want to be patient for it. So again, I appreciate my guests for coming through. Thank you again. All the best. Congratulations to Abby, our upcoming show. Shout out to my man Alex. Congratulations to his brother. Shout out to my man Davis going to the Ultimate Classic. Check him out.
Did he
Tell
leave?
my KL the Wonder, he has some interviews coming up. My man Jeremy, he's doing pretty good. We might get him back on some interviews also. So, folks, anyways, man, always Joe Page, aka the Emperor of Human Body Talk. Don't like, subscribe. I'm out. Good night, good luck, and God
Bye,
bless.
guys.
See you later.
Now then.